Hey, it's Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group, and this is the latest edition of our Denver Metro Housing Report. Next level, next generation stats brought to you by our friends at First American Title. And this is to end the week of September 5th, which is yesterday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday, September 5th. So this report does take Labor Day weekend into account, and you'll see there's some big changes associated with that. And we do hope that it is more holiday weekend related than it is a trend to follow. So I know this looks really big and jarbly and lots of colors and numbers going on here. And the goal of this is to simplify this such that the information deducted from it helps you determine when the best time for you to get in the real estate market might be. Whether you're selling a home, whether you're buying a home, whether you're selling a home to buy a home. This covers the 7-county greater Denver metro area. You can see at very deep level with lots of numbers to go over. So the first thing I want to start with going to be this odds of selling column here, this very first column, and simple relationship here between supply and demand. You can see where we started the year is about shade under 50%, and we got as high as about 66% odds of selling. And you can see ever since about mid-May into June, it's been slowly dwindling down. Big drop off this last week, going from 51% odds of selling down to 42% odds of selling. So table that for a minute. We are going to come back to that. Part of the reason that number went down, average daily active listing count. This is at any given day how many properties are on the market. And you can see where the number started. By the way, when you do see these, if you're selling a home independently, like you're selling, cashing out, you're not buying another home, you want to see reds, deep reds, and oranges. Those indicate hotter markets for sellers, or at least in that particular metric. If you're simply buying a home, you want to see the blues on the other end of the scale, greens, blues. If you're doing both at the same time, really it shouldn't matter because you're doing it in the same market. Some people do get hung up on, trying to time the seller's market and the seller's stats and the buyer's metrics at the same time, and it just really doesn't work that way. Anyways, you can see these reds on the average daily active listing count all the way down into the mid 3,000s in February, March, and into April. That number's crept up and up and up over the last several weeks and months to a number of 6,300 last week. So at any given day, 6,300 properties were on the market as competition to other sellers. New listings to hit the market. You can see the number started in the 6s and 7s per week, got all the way up into the 12s and 13s, 1,300-ish range per week. And that's been dipping down ever since about mid-July. It's about 1,000 to 1,100 properties hitting the market every single week. Last week it was only 650. That surely has to do with holiday week. Many sellers choose to not launch their listings going into a holiday weekend. And, the pros and cons there. Back on market, expired, withdrawn. I'm going to skip over those for a moment. We're going to go to pending sales. Pending sales, to me, is the truest measure of current demand, I should say. That's how many homes went under contract on any given week. And you can see we started the year off at short of 700 properties, moved all the way up into about 11, almost 1,200 properties per week. Last week, we went from averaging about 900-ish to all the way down to 646. Again, could be product of the holiday weekend. We shall see if trends develop next week when we get the next report. Closed, such a lagging measure. I don't spend too much time there. There is a relationship between what pended and what went under contract 4 to 6 weeks ago and what closed this week. You can see 605 properties closed in the last week. Next, predictive MSI stands for months supply of inventory. And this is the truest measure of a seller's market versus a balanced market versus a buyer's market. Anything under 4 months of supply indicates a seller's market. Anything between, I'm going to say 4 to 6 months is balanced. 6 months plus, we are in a true buyer's market as defined by the month supply of inventory. This just means at any given time, given the current sales base, it would take this amount of time for all the properties available to sell out. So you can see we started the year at 1.5 months supply, worked ourselves all the way down to under a month for a long time, crept up back over a month, and we've been over a month into a month and a half for quite a while. Now sitting at 2.2 months of supply. So essentially take the sales pace and divide it into the amount of inventory on the market to get that measure. Going to skip over a couple more of these columns here. Going to go to total showings. This is, to me, one of the truest leading measures of the health of the real estate market. As you can imagine, if there's lots of buyers out looking at properties, there's going to be lots of sales activity. And the inverse is also true. So we started the year in the 11, 12,000 range, worked our way into the 17,000 plus showings per week. When was that? In mid-April. That's when the market was, by all accounts, the hottest this year. And then showings started to trickle off, where they maintained pretty steady pace around 12, 13,000 a week. Last week, just 10,427 registered showings. Again, something we'll have to continue to see if that's a trend and 10,000 is the new norm, or if that was due to the holiday week. I can tell you from our sellers' perspective, we had 2 properties on the market this past weekend. One of them just hit the market and received 8 showings, and the other one had been on the market for a couple of weeks and went under contract on Labor Day week. So, obviously properties do change hands on these holiday weekends. It's just less of them. Okay, showings per listing. Last week, 1.7. The week prior, 1.9. So you see that number drop off a little bit there as well. Showings to contract, I'm going to skip over. We're going to go straight to median days on market. Obviously, when things are hot, there's lots of showings. Properties don't last as long on the market. You can see it, some of these hotter weeks, again, back in April, May, median days on market was 5, 6, 7 in that range. And it's been in the 10 plus range for quite some time. Looks like about, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, somewhere in there. Last week, the median days on market for the properties that went under contract last week was 19. So plus 2 days there. Decrease, increase, and no change just stands for the amount of properties, or the percentage, I should say, of properties that are on the market that decreased their price, that increased their price, or did not change their price. You can see where those numbers lie. Not too much to take away from that, other than, if you overprice a home, it's not going to sell. You're going to have to either exit the market, or you're going to have to drop your price in order to sell it. So those are kind of the key measures for this week, again, ending September the 5th. You can see lots of blues on there. That means lots of drops from the week before. Again, if you're simply selling a home, you want to see these red cells, these orange cells. If you're buying a home, you do want to see what we saw this past week. That is a good indicator of jumping into the market, because you don't have nearly as much competition. And if you're doing both at the same time, you're selling a home to buy another home, again, quite frankly, it does not matter. What matters to you is, is the house out there that you want, does the house that you want that fits your needs and your family's needs, does it exist? Is it available in the market? If yes, take what the market will give you for your home and take what you can take for that home, or go get that home for what you can get it for. It's an equity swap. You're not gaining or losing equity on either side. So that's the Denver metro market advanced level stats in a nutshell. This is, of course, a macro level look. Like I said, 7 counties. If you want more specifics on your market, your town, your suburb, your neighborhood, heck, your block or your street, let me know, because we can run these numbers every which way. These are put together, again, courtesy of our friends at First American Title. So thank you to them. And thank you to you for enduring all of these stats. And I trust that you find them helpful for your specific situation. Reach out if we can be a resource, and we'll see you next week.